strange cult. The following dated texts were found in the personal effects of the lesser-known conceptual media artist Scot Cotterell after his disappearance in 2016. 17th of the 6th, 2015. 10 plots. A playboy who pretends to be black weds the mother of a carpenter who doesn't speak English. A baseball player who wants to get married opens a resort with a warlock from South Dakota. A blimp pilot with a shopping problem manages a little league team with a park ranger who works for the CIA. A caveman from the District of Columbia is trapped in a virtual world with a lonely monk from South Carolina. A homophobic who has secretly killed 100 men travels the world in a hot air balloon with a bathroom attendant who eats inanimate objects. A foreign diplomat who is fascinated by mummies opens a resort with a rich heiress from Texas. A starship captain who finds out they are adopted enters a surf competition with a magical horse who is the embodiment of Satan. A masculine nun who is secretly married is trapped in a virtual world with a secretive TV repairman who won the lottery. A burned out 70s punk rock icon from Nevada owes their life to a rapper from North Dakota. An overweight army bugler who is secretly gay manages a little league team with a clown who was in the Ku Klux Klan. 21st of the 7th, 2015. 10 terrains. This is a cool desert. It is 24,051 square miles by 62,292 square miles. And it is covered in black sand. It has existed for centuries and is showing little change in size. It is home to many hardy plants and animals, and flowing water can only be found by the skilled. This large, humid, sparse forest is old. It is home to many different plants and some rare species of animals. The ground between the trees is obscured by thick undergrowth. Fruit trees and edible plants are few and far between, and clean water can be found with luck. This forest is notable for its wildlife. This endless ocean is largely brown when seen from afar, and notable for its gentle waves. The water is cold and shallow, and the weather above it is usually misty. It is home to an exotic range of different marine plants and countless species of animals. This mountain range is 7,276 miles by 11,710 kilometers long and reaches 15,376 feet at its highest point. Most of the lower range is covered in rocky plains. The region frequently experiences fog. Exposed lava pools can be found within the range. This enormous soaked jungle is home to thousands of different plants and animals. Some of these are venomous or poisonous. 13 species of large predators make their home here. The tallest trees are around 169 feet tall, and the overgrowth is moderately challenging to travel through without cutting tools. Rare herbs can be found inside. This river stretches 3,030 miles long from its source to the sea. It is 788 metres wide at its widest point and 213 metres at its deepest point. The water is cold, murky and blue-green, and it flows rapidly with powerful undercurrents for the most part, making it dangerous for even strong swimmers. Fish are abundant, making it a suitable place for fishermen, and the local wildlife is very diverse. It travels through a cave at one point. This tiny, frozen, high-density forest is over 500 years old. It is home to only a few different plants and many different species of animals. The ground between the trees is covered in thick grass, fruit, trees, and edible plants, a few and far between. Clean water is hard to find. This forest is notable for its natural beauty. Deep within the forest, rare creatures can be found. This enormous ocean is largely crystal clear when seen from afar, and notable for its lack of waves. The water is warm and deep, and the weather above is usually foggy. It is home to a small range of different marine plants and a few different species of animals. This is a scorching desert. It is 3,471 square miles in size and is covered in massive dunes. It is steadily getting smaller. It is completely devoid of life, and flowing water can be found in one spring in the middle of the desert. It frequently experiences very strong windstorms. This mountain range is 5,128 miles long and reaches 25,236 feet. Most of the lower range is covered in tons of snow. The region frequently experiences heavy snowfall. An extinct volcano can be found within the range. 17th of the 8th, 2015. 15 objects. A gigantic etching of an eagle and a sparrow. A rather small copper statue of a pelt. A rather small platinum statue of a ghost and a longbow. It was done in a simplistic style. It is in excellent condition. A medium-sized sketch of a humble druid with mismatched eyes and a tall, egotistical poetess with dark eyes. The predominant colour is dark yellow. The frame is made of ironwood. It is in excellent condition. A large silver sculpture depicting an illness involving an apprentice. It is in good condition. A gigantic drawing of a bone during a storm. It was done in an energetic style. It is in decent condition. A small carving of a rose. It is in good condition. A somewhat large fresco depicting a betrayal involving a very tall mother with dark grey eyes and sallow skin near a dock. It was done in a particular artist style. It is in great condition. A large engraving of a lantern. It was done in an abstract style. A small carving depicting a meeting involving a young man and a very tall hunter. It is in good condition. A very small oak sculpture of a short, capricious barbarian. It was done in a gloomy style. It is in excellent condition. A medium-sized watercolor depicting an accomplishment involving a sorcerer with numerous tattoos. It was done in an exotic style. A gigantic hickory sculpture of a hydra. A large engraving of the friend of a famous hero. It is in average condition. The 2nd of the 9th, 2015. Bay Area Witch Thrash. Cool country folk from Europe. Band, rave pop, bleeding hearts, power pop. Spaced out fuzz rock. The new wave of Dutch heavy jazz. Punishing slabs of phlegmatic, groove-laden grunge, lying cheek to jowl with some beautifully light-headed moments in the vein of classic Sabbath. Official Twitter account of Justin Timberlake. Sid City Hip Hop Crew. Detroit Techno Mainstay. 07 the 10th, 2016. Infinite Prisons. Hadn't been so protective of that when Bill candy painted lack. She had a little, a martial arts tale. The story of Moses Brasky asked this, in a pimp fresh, amethyst sanctum, being about a group of Midas and the story of the Odyssey, envisaged as was destroyed by distant planet. First hellish lingo, deep ravens drowned inheritors from began to fade to black. She Jenkins, for what on blankly, what the hell? That's that wall Buddha Gilgamesh that concerns a group, and the tale of the prodigal county's great peaceable domains. 7th image yellow imaginary desert. Behind on Bill Brasky's face. Story of Frankenstein, advanced mathematics. It class comedy tale. The story of realistic and benevolent Republic of Ireland, being about was destroyed by religious conflict caused by a swashbuckling horror, armoured amethyst blitz Brasky's armpit. With a faint iPad, was slowly opened her mouth to speak. Buildings and business fusion of the legend of options. She resist. It didn't take long thicket, squealing with discontent. She clearly stalkers. Legendary, the dead first civil war caused of Shire's kingdom of always, had been a little, it all started, when was noted for its, because of the people set in a craft shop. The story of displeased, she thoughtfully reached, for she was who cried wolf theories. This noted for its advanced city building, find the iPad, Bill Brasky grabbed her, she Leroy Jenkins, would-be star, Bill Brasky, woke country, was leaving behind only trade routes, and Leroy Jenkins cringed, trying, taken by the military conquests. This benevolent leaving behind only kingdom of the vice space, hell of the icy imperium was noted holiness, winter tactics. It was destroyed by a Thumbelina envisaged as a period piece. Okay. Still, silence. Leroy Jenkins, feeling open, you know. Silence from Bill, the room natural science tale. the story of was destroyed by a flood, leaving behind only figured that if Bill Brasky took into Bill astronauts. A fusion of the story of the open-minded aerial kingdom was noted for its island, Gulliver's Travels envisaged as a limbo and astrology. It was destroyed by meteorology. It was destroyed by a social decline caused by jealousy. Leaving was interrupted by Seven, invited her over. Conspiracy by a gradual decline. Leaving behind demise of evil fifth limbo, fifth Sylvan technocracy, of as dead, so no one lived marmots, but relics. This patriotic, expansive domain, Bill, where Leroy Jenkins had hidden the iPad. Brasky was severely hurt, her prostrate, during the out from Bill Brasky's with that, her picked up to Leroy Jenkins' front door. Fife's solidarity of little Dutch boy and the extreme sloth, leaving wandering Jew, and the it was destroyed by a series of natural expansive kingdom, by Orange Cavern just thankful for her life. iPad only 10 days tale, A by perversion, leaving behind domains, government of shires, grand that she was in something. Suddenly cheered up, Demences, fifth boggy, a climactic shift, greed, flying evolution. Mercury's Brasky's direction, rag, thinking it would make iPad, Leroy Jenkins urgent. This bastion, sin, it was the first time it had happened. American Ben-Hur and the legend of honorable, infinite prisons, limbo of regency, heavenly and free republic, the buzzing horde of marmots running off, usually grassland envisioned as a city-smashing monster, the life escaped from Bill's subject, at hand. Her compassionate sixth supreme plane of and insensitive, Bill Brasky, Leroy Jenkins realized pious the unholy, luminous realm. th of the 11th, 2015. Possible witness. After reviewing the documentation, the purported McDonald's employee accepted me and my family as a customer and left us to place our order. In what follows, I will refer to this person as possible witness 1. We ordered 2 ranch wraps, 1 burger, and 1 mango McFlurry from a cashier who I will refer to as possible witness 2. My daughter handled the cash to pay possible witness 2, as my daughter wanted to practice her French. Possible witness 2 complimented my daughter on her fluency in French. Next, my family and I seated ourselves in the restaurant right by the entrance so we could watch people along the Champs-Élysées while we ate our meal. Subsequently, another person within McDonald's physically assaulted me while I was in McDonald's eating my McDonald's ranch wrap that I had just purchased at this McDonald's. He angrily grabbed my eyeglass and he tried to pull it from my head. The eyeglass is permanently attached and does not come off my skull without special tools. I tried to calm him down and I showed him the letter from my doctor and the documentation I had brought with me. He, who I will refer to as perpetrator 1, then brought me 2 other persons. He was standing in the middle, right in front of me. And there was another person to my left, seated at a table, who I will refer to as perpetrator 2, and a third person to my right. The third person, who I will refer to as perpetrator 3, was holding a broom and dustpan and wearing a shirt with a McDonald's logo on it. The person in the center, perpetrator 1, handed the materials I had given to him to the person on my left, perpetrator 2, while the three of them reviewed my doctor's letter and the documentation. After all three of them reviewed this material and deliberated on it for some time, perpetrator 2 angrily crumpled my ripped up letter from the doctor. My other documentation was also destroyed by perpetrator 1. I noticed that perpetrator 1 was wearing a name tag clipped to his belt. When I looked down at it, he quickly covered it up with his hand and pulled it off and turned it around so that it was facing inwards, so that only the blank white backside was then facing outwards. Perpetrator 1 pushed me out the door and into the street. "25th of the 10th, 2015. Motherfucker thinks animals have rights. Concerns himself with this shit. Stands on corners with petitions in the rain, brings that shit up at dinner. Mysteriously suggested animals. In some seminar in the 30s. It's always a lizard. People shuffle in the background. Shitty recording. Retroactive totalization. It's all bullshit. Drink more coffee. A politically correct guide to the Bible exists. Laughter. We are all here in this same room, you know. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. You are not a writer. Fucking romantic hack." She said I could choose her underwear today. What a thing to do. Eat the animal, belch smoke, distance speech minimal, formulation, essence of animality. We spoke about horror film plots and their real-life bases as she clasped her hands over her eyes. Just a series of different capitalisms. Generative text is always better than purely human linear text. That shit is always awkward. Reeks of piss. See? 15th of the 11th, 2015. When we received this painting, we thought it was really good art. A picker had found it abandoned behind an old brewery. At the time, we wondered a little why a seemingly perfectly fine painting would be discarded like that. Today, we don't. One morning, our 4.5-year-old daughter claimed that the children in the picture were fighting and coming into the room during the night. Now, I don't believe in UFOs or Elvis being alive, but my husband was alarmed. To my amusement, he set up a motion-triggered camera for the night. After 3 nights, there were pictures. The last 2 pictures shown are from that stakeout. After seeing the boy seemingly exit the painting under threat, we decided the painting has to go. Please judge for yourself. Before you do, please read the following warning and disclaimer. Warning, do not bid on this painting if you are susceptible to stress-related disease, faint of heart, or are unfamiliar with supernatural events. By bidding on this painting, you agree to release the owners of all liability in relation to the sale or any events happening after the sale that might be contributed to this painting. This painting may or may not possess supernatural powers that could impact or change your life. However, by bidding, you agree to exclusively bid on the value of the artwork with disregard to the last 2 photos featured in this auction, and hold the owners harmless in regard to them and their impact, expressed or implied. Now that we got this out of the way, one question for you eBayers. We want our house to be blessed. after the painting is gone? Does anybody know who is qualified to do that? The size of the painting is 24 by 36 inches, so it is rather large. As I have had several questions, here are the following answers. There was no odour left behind in the room. There were no voices or the smell of gunpowder, no footprints or strange fluids on the wall. To deter questions in this direction, there are no ghosts in this world, no supernatural powers. This is just a painting, and most of these things have an explanation. In this case, probably a fluke lighting effect. I encourage you to bid on the artwork and consider the last two photographs as pure entertainment. Please do not take them into consideration. When bidding, as we think it is a good idea to bless any house, we still welcome input into that procedure. 21st of the 12th, 2015. We need to talk about Sandy Hook. Full video in higher quality. Unreal. US Army soldier wearing invisibility suit in 2015. We need to talk about Sandy Hook. The ultimate case closed. We need to talk about Sandy Hook. Illuminati hypersexualization of children exposed. Disney pedophilia and the satanic. This video is illegal in 52 countries. See why 2015. Celebrity outs Obama and wife. Manshell. Charlie Sheen, satanic ritual abuser. Obama devil horns appear during speech. Christians watch. Is this the wizard behind the curtain? A colossal oversight, a mismanagement of human resources, the decay layered in many iterations. Dampness below the surface leaches through. A crescendo of residue. A triumphant horned shout out to moisture. A painter slathers on liquid goo to stem the decay. Porosity rules here in this fucking bathroom. A squiggly aerosol cletus gawks right-angled at your shit surface, proclaims, well done, for whatever function you've just satisfied. A fat man sings dramatically in the ether. Police radio transmissions fade in and out. Junk gangs up on space, gets all accumulative and shit. 17th of the 1st, 2016. Anti-pornography film produced by financier Charles Keating, linking pornography to the communist conspiracy and the decline of Western civilization. False system of worship. Since the beginning of time, the devil has induced man into worshipping anything other than the true God of heaven. His intentions have never changed, only his tactics. Is it possible the devil has repackaged his false systems of worship in such a deceptive fashion that most people don't even realize they are worshipping things other than God? This presentation will explore how the devil is using profile celebrities to lead people away from true worship. 20th of the 2nd, 2016. Exhibition 1. An issue of Art Forum with all the articles removed. Posters with text poems made by online generators. A book of works about text in text and image format. White paintings with surveillance cameras mounted on them. The floor as a stringed instrument. A collection of old CCTV monitors with screen burn. Exhibition 2. Plaster casts of the inside of packing boxes. A radio tuned halfway between two stations. A gas flame. A sputtering sound. A forklift at full extension with a Boston bun on one time. 7 identical cheap coffee tables in a row. Exhibition 3. A wrecked Mercedes car, painted entirely matte black and fitted with subwoofers in all panels. A tone alternating between 0 and 30 Hz repetitively plays in the subwoofers. Exhibition 4. A large industrial floor fan with thin silver streamers the length of the gallery attached to the fan. Fan is turned on. Exhibition 5. A room full of evenly spaced bowler hats and frilly umbrellas.